We have our 2025 Bounce Back episode. Today's episode is brought to you by our friends over at Sleeper. Head over to Sleeper, guys. Take your whole fantasy football league over there. Great place to do mock drafts. A little bit of dynamic payouts, all that stuff. Remember, enter promo code DUDES100. They'll match you up to $100. Today, I am joined by Seth and Jordan. Phil is not here. I am not quite sure what Phil is doing right now. I think he kind of pulled a Frank Ragnow. How do you say that, Jordan? Frank Ragnow? Is that how you say it?
Ragnow? I don't know, though. That's a weird... I don't know.
The last name exactly for the Lions center, but I don't know if that's what he was doing. I'm not sure. He wasn't able to make it. Apparently, you can't travel and bring a microphone. And if you do travel and bring a microphone, you can't use it while you travel. Let's jump into these rankings here. So I have their rankings from 2023, and these are kind of guys that fell back in 2024. We will go by position. So I have their 2023 ranking versus their 2024 ranking. First on the list here, guys, Brock Purdy in 2023 finished as QB6. In 2024, he finished as QB14. Kind of like a fallen or ballin type thing here, but the bounce back. Do you think we get a bounce back here, Seth? Or are you not seeing it happening with the 49ers since you're such a huge fan?
Definitely not QB6. I think he's probably in the QB 10 range. I think right around there. So I think somewhere in the middle of 6 and 14. I think the 49ers are better this year, but I don't think they're as good as they were when he had that QB6 year. So I think right around in the middle. So maybe of a little bit of a bounce back, but not in that QB6 range.
Jordan, what are you thinking? You think we got a QB1 here?
No, I think he's closer to, like said, that 10 to 14. Like I don't think maybe he gets up to the 10 through 12, but I tend to think like that 10 through 14 is where he'll stay,
Okay, and I have him. So right now on Underdog Best Ball, he is going as, where we got Brock Purdy here. He is going as QB 12. So kind of where you guys have him. The value for there seems really good. We'll get into that more, but I think he's getting drafted very well. But I like just looking at top 12 QBs right now. Weird one. 2 QBs going ahead of Brock Purdy right now in best ball. We got Justin Fields at QB 11 and Caleb Williams at QB 10. Bo Nix at QB 9. Do you see him finishing above any of those guys? Like, there's a lot of smoke, Jordan, on Justin Fields. I'm guessing that's just rushing upside, probably.
It's for sure rushing upside and like the guaranteed role, of him having the starting job with not much anyone really to push him. So. I get it.
Okay. And then Bo Nix, maybe like if you were to predict one sophomore that maybe falls back this year, you think it's Bo Nix? You think it's Drake May?
He was like
I don't
QB 13.
You think it's Jane Daniels.
I mean, Drake May can't really fall back. I mean, I guess he could, but
well, he's just getting drafted. Drake May's QB 16 right now. On Underdog, so one and Herbert's QB.
I guess
15.
Bo Nix was QB 7 last year. Yeah, I guess he could fall back. I don't know. Both those guys have pretty solid. Both those guys have pretty solid rushing upside, though.
Mm-hmm. What were you saying, Seth?
I think Bo Nix falls back. I don't know. The rushing upside could keep him in the top 10. I just think he finishes outside of that.
Then, all right. I'm going to say I'll go QB 9 on Purdy, but I think we all are agreeing that he bounces back, though. That he's not a double. That he's not a 14. 14's not a QB 1. We're all saying QB 1 for Purdy.
No, I don't think so, Trent.
What do you consider QB 1?
1 through 10, I guess. I guess
10,
it depends what time. Well, I mean, I think that's what most people consider 10, like a QB1 is 1 through 10. Yeah, I think he's like a fringe QB1 in a 12-team league. Somewhere in that 11, 10 to 14.
Probably not a waiver wire guy, though.
I mean, depends what kind of league you're in.
Yeah, 12 team, you think he's on the waiver wire?
I think in some leagues, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, and what's his upside? I guess that's kind of where it comes down to is like, what is his upside?
Yeah, it's
I mean,
depends what.
like Bo Nix has it just feels like a lot of higher upside than Brock Purdy on a week-to-week basis.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But you got Kittle, CMC. I'm not sold on. Ayuk, Juwan Johnson, Ricky Purcell. It's just kind of some unknowns there. Like Debo, it can't get worse than Debo this year, right? Like there's no way that Juwan Johnson and Ricky Purcell are worse than Debo. I feel like they have to be better than what he was last year. And then maybe Kittle has more of a feature role. So I'll go QB9 right there. I'll stay with that. Next on the list here, Patrick Mahomes, 2023 QB8. And in 2024, QB11. In 2022, he was QB1. So he has slightly, gone backwards every year fantasy-wise, in the fantasy points. Do we see him cracking, top 5 this year, Jordan? Or do you think like 9 to 12? Like where do you see him going here, Jordan? I know you really like their receivers.
I think he's just kind of the bottom QB1, like the 8 to 10 range, maybe. That might just be, and again, like we've talked about, where his floor is going to be really high all the time. But I just don't know what his ceiling is now. He hasn't flashed a ceiling in a couple years. Their defense is really good. They're going to run the ball. I tend to think he's more of like a back end QB1 who you're going to get every single week from him. Floor is really high. Ceiling may not be there. But I do think the ceiling on him is higher than Brock Purdy every week.
Patrick Mahomes is QB6 on Best Ball right now, ADP of 84. Only going behind Joe Burrow, Jalen Hurts, Jaden Daniels, Lamar Jackson, and Josh Allen. So, Seth, what are you thinking?
I think honestly QB6 behind those guys. I get it. It makes sense, right? You're drafting for that upside, but I tend to agree with you. He hasn't shown that in the recent years, so I would probably put Patrick Mahomes in that probably 8 to 10 range. I wouldn't draft him at QB6. I just don't think the upside's there. I think if you get him at, QB 8 to 10 in that range, I think that's a good draft spot, and he'll probably finish there. Just because he's not going to finish outside the top 15. Like, there's no way that's going to happen. But I really don't see him cracking. I don't know if I see him cracking the top 8, really.
With my deal with Mahomes is I just don't think I'll ever draft him, Jordan, because I think when redraft comes around, Jordan, like where do you think he goes? Do you think he's going to fall in that QB6 range, or do you think he goes? Could you see him going up before Hurts? Maybe. Could you see him going? Like I don't see him going ahead of Burrow. Like I feel like in redraft this year, it's going to be like Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Burrow, Mahomes, maybe like then Daniels. I feel like the redraft crowd is almost more worried about Jaden Daniels than the best ball crowd, if that makes sense. I feel like people have like a bad taste from CJ Stroud, and I'm not saying that's right because I think the rushing upside there and the new weapons, like I don't think we should be afraid of that happening with Daniels.
Yeah, I don't see the worry with Daniels, to be honest. So I don't really get that. The Mahomes stuff, like where he goes, I think he's probably going maybe a little bit higher than where he should be. But it'll be interesting. People might be done with him. So I don't know.
It's more of just that defense, like I've always said. All right. The one that, I thought Phil would give me a hard time about this, and maybe I deserve it, but I got Dak Prescott, 2023, finishing as QB3. Last year, due to injury, QB31. Man, looking at this here, with his ADP right now, he's going QB14. I don't know if Dallas's defense is that much better. You bring in George Pickens, CeeDee Lamb. You know how his connection with Ferguson. He's got to be a lock for top 12, right? With Dak? Am I crazy, Seth?
No, I think that's fair. I think he's right around that Patrick Mahomes range, I think. Maybe a little higher. So maybe like
Okay.
right around 8, I like him. I think that's fine for me. Maybe 7.
Jordan, you lower? Jordan, you lower or
I
higher?
mean-
Just had his second kid. Everyone's saying they're surprised it wasn't intercepted. That's what the talk is right now. Jordan, what do you got?
I would say that I agree with Seth. Probably somewhere in that 8 to 12. Again, though, I don't know what his ceiling is. Like, what's the ceiling on Dak Prescott? I don't know. I'm gonna always take Mahomes over Dak, but might be a personal preference thing at this point.
Yes, the ceiling. I don't know if he gets that 3 ceiling ever again. I think that was his ceiling 2 years ago, and I don't know if he gets back there.
I don't think he gets there again.
I didn't look and see what he did in 2022. Did he get injured in 22? And the injuries, that pushes him back as well. QB 14. I could see me taking Dak in leagues, which I usually don't draft Dak. It's been a while since I've drafted Dak, but from that QB 10 to 16, I kind of like those guys. You got Caleb Williams at 10, maybe not Fields, Purdy, Goff, Dak, Herbert, May. Jordan, who would you take? Jared Goff or Dak? You'd go Goff?
I go Goff probably, but I think that's your sweet spot as in your best ball QB stacking.
Those guys,
and
right
there's
there,
good.
yeah.
There's some good stacking partners right there too, right? Like you said, Dak. You got CD. With like Caleb Williams, you have DJ Moore. Fields though, Trent. Like you have Garrett Wilson. Purdy, you have some cheaper maybe guys, and like I don't know what Pearsall's going. Juwan Jennings, I don't know what they're going. Who was another one you said? Or Goff? There's the obvious ones there with JMO and ASB. Yeah. Herbert, you have Ladd. So there's some good stacking partners in best ball. So maybe some good you go those wide receivers early, and then you kind of wait to pair them with some quarterbacks late. Or in the mid rounds. I don't mind that at all.
Just to stay on brand, we could have thrown Trevor Lawrence in here, but do you think that's even? Could you even consider that a bounce back at this moment, Jordan? Like, has he gotten to that point where you can throw him in the category?
I'm sure that I'll have way too much Trevor Lawrence again for the 3rd season in a row. But I mean, there's just clear stacking partners with them, and Thomas and Hunter, and you can probably get Strange, the cheaper tight end, to pair with them. So, I don't know.
No, but that's what I'm saying is, has Lawrence ever done good enough that you're like, this
2 years
is
ago?
Yeah, no, that's what you said 3 years ago or 2 years ago?
I think 2 years ago.
So 22.
So he was QB 7 in 22. And then in 23, he was QB 12. And then last year, he's way down here, QB 27.
Well, he missed some games, but
yeah, so he's probably not if I could do fantasy points per game, let me do it by fantasy points per game. He was still QB 27, Trent. So fantasy points per game. So and the year before he was up there at 6, QB 17. Yeah, so I don't think he's QB 27 this year. I think he's probably QB 14, 15. And if you can do a double stack with him and best ball, that might get it done, just because Brian Thomas, Strange, Hunter might be that good.
Yeah. So, no, I didn't realize he finished at 7 like that. I just don't remember that very well. With Brian Thomas being as good as he is, you would think that he could still have that potential where he could be a really nice late round guy. And honestly, unless you can get Josh Allen, Lamar, Jaden Daniels, Jalen Hurts, Joe Burrow, maybe you go for the late round guy.
I apologize.
Honestly, that QB 8, is that what you have?
He was QB 13 in the points per game When you look at total
Okay.
fantasy points, he was QB7. So
Does anyone in here
I don't
have
know.
like their last QB? Do you have like your last QB you're willing to take in a draft?
I don't think I've done I don't know if, to be honest, if I've done the thought process into that at this point. But
once one
I don't
guy's
know,
gone,
Bryce Young. I think are we what kind of format are we talking about, Trent?
I'm talking redraft. I'm talking redraft. I just
Okay.
use underdog because I think that's the best ADP right now. Like sleeper has some stuff, but I think when people put money involved,
Yeah, but
underdog's
then
the best place to go.
underdog is probably a lot of best ball, right? There's no really redraft they're using.
Yeah, it's all best ball, but I like using
So-
the underdog ADP better than sleeper almost right this time of year.
I guess. Well, quarterbacks can go sometimes a little bit early in best ball just because people are trying to jump on the stack, So
Yeah.
yeah,
I'm looking more at position ADP for quarterbacks though, rather than ADP overall.
got you.
So yeah.
I mean, in best ball, I think there's a lot of guys I'll take, down there.
Yeah.
Let me look.
Redraft for me,
See
I'm going
here.
QB7. When Baker Mayfield's like that next guy queued up in the QB spot, I think that's kind of when I want to go. Like just what Baker's done the last 2 years. They get Emeka. I think Baker, I think that he's kind of a nice lock there. Finished his QB4 last season. In 23, he finished as QB10. So I think once Baker's that next guy up, I feel like that's a good spot to just take a guy unless you can get one of those quarterbacks with rushing upside.
I don't mind Fields. I know you kind of said you don't like Fields. I don't mind Fields.
I like Wilson still. I don't know if I want to go with Fields though. Like I think Fields is a lot better for Wilson. Even though Wilson had a better fantasy season than what people want to admit, it's just his ADP was absolutely terrible last year. Like he was a guy that went in the first round, and Wilson finished as wide receiver. Where do I got Wilson here? I thought he was like 13. Am I in the wrong? Oh, I'm in 2023. That's why. So 2024, Wilson finishes wide receiver 11. Not what you want for a guy in the first round, but that's the best season he's had.
Yeah.
So I think he could do better with Fields because look what Fields did with DJ Moore 2 years ago. So, but I don't. But yeah. So there's a little bit of a quarterback off ramp we took right there. Jordan, you added CJ Stroud to this list. 23 finished his QB9. Last year finished his QB18.
Yeah, I just think it's too low, Trent. I mean, he has good weapons still. I know Tank Dell's not playing, but you have Mechie. They drafted 2 wide receivers in the draft, both the Iowa State duo and Noel and Higgins. They still have Nico Collins, and they have Christian Kirk. Schultz at tight end, Brevin Jordan at tight end. The running backs room solid. I don't know. Do I think he's like a top 5 QB fantasy wise? No, but I think his upside's a lot higher than 18. You asked me the last person I'd take probably in a redraft. Underdog ADP has him going to QB 18. I think that's entirely too low for him. So, I don't think he's the bet a top 5, but I think that there's a lot more room, meat on the bone, I'd say, with where you're drafting him, in that 12. I think he lands right in that 8 to 12 range. So I don't know. I think you get a little bounce back for CJ Stroud.
Seth, you on the CJ Stroud bounce back?
Yeah, I tend to agree with Jordan here. Definitely not QB 18. I'm not sure
18.
we get back into that top 10 though. I feel like every quarterback I'm saying right around the 10 mark, but I think right around there is good for him. Maybe 12 might be the right answer.
Yeah, so I'm not sure if any of you guys saw my post I had on X this week. Just a little kind of got people not super fired up, but just on where are we at here? On Nico Collins. So or I guess I could save it for wide receivers, but we're on the Texans here. But Nico Collins missed 6 games, but only had 1.1 fewer fantasy points than Tyreek Hill last year. So that got a lot of juice on X. Give me a follow at TFF Dudes. But I feel like I can't believe Tyreek Hill did that entirely bad, that he missed, that he only had 1.1 more points than Nico Collins last year. Like, that's unbelievable to me and doesn't make sense. But, the Dolphins have been that bad at backup QBs the past few seasons. So,
Well, I'm trying to. How many games did Tyreek Hill play last year?
he didn't miss as many as you think, Jordan. He had that wrist injury. Where is he?
He definitely played hurt all year.
He played hurt. Yeah, and their backup quarterback's been absolutely terrible. You'd been happier if he missed more games so you could have benched him.
He played every single game last year.
I thought
he definitely felt like he was questionable. Definitely felt like he was questionable. Man, he has played a lot of games in his career. He hasn't missed many games. He's pretty kind of just goes out there and plays.
Yeah, so Tyreek Hill, wide receiver 21 last year. Nico Collins, wide receiver 22. So I feel like Nico Collins to finish top 25, missing 6 games. That's actually pretty good. So he was on pace to be absolute monster. And what's his ADP right now? Because he's probably going way too low also. On Underdog, he's going as wide receiver 7.
Yeah, I think that's probably right spot.
I think that makes sense though.
Yeah, right. 1 behind Amon-Ra St. Brown, 1 before Brian Thomas Jr., 2 ahead of Drake London. So it's a good spot. All right, we'll hand this off to the running backs. But first, guys, head over to Underdog Fantasy. Enter promo code DUDES. They'll match you up to $1,000. Best ball drafts. I did one of those by myself last week. It was an absolute disaster. Not sure if I really want you to go watch that. Did the little solo episode. But see if you can do better than that. Head over to Underdog. You can do plays every day on MLB, NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs, everything. Underdog Fantasy has it all. Promo code DUDES. Match you up to $1,000. Best ball. It's my favorite way to, get ready for these drafts. And it's something fun to do while, you're sitting there watching TV or, I don't know, sitting somewhere. But head over to Underdog. First on my list for a potential bounce back. Want to know what you guys thought? Not sure if I'm really buying it. Breece Hall, running back 4 2 years ago, running back 17 last year. I was probably the highest on Breece Hall on this pod, and it did not end up well for me. So Breece Hall, running back 17, I don't know if Justin Fields makes him better. He's not the type of guy that, targets running backs at PPR, but we do got a new coach there in Glenn that has been in Detroit where they give the running backs all those goal line carries. So I'm not seeing the bounce back of top 5 running back. Maybe top 12 is the right spot for him. Right now in Underdog, he's going as running back. Here. He's going. I think his value is actually pretty good. He's running back 13. So right after Kyron Williams and Chase Brown. So what are you guys thinking? Jordan, are you still off the Breece Hall bandwagon, or do you kind of like him for late running back?
I think he like a top 12. If you get him as like a late RB1, I think it's fine. I mean, how much are they going to use Braylon Allen? I mean, I would imagine Aaron Glenn comes from that system where they have a lot of two running backs. So I would assume that Braylon Allen will get some run. It's encouraging, I think, that they didn't draft a running back this past year. They signed Donovan Edwards in free agency as an undrafted rookie, but yeah, I like Breece Hall. I don't think he's top 5 again, but I think he'll push for top 10.
I'm gonna be out on him, but who would you rather take here?
Answer.
Okay, Seth, who would you rather have, Breece Hall or Marion Hampton?
Breece Hall.
Jordan?
Probably Breece Hall. Because Hampton has like more of a passing threat, I think, that takes away from him. Like, I think Fields obviously takes away some goal line equity from Breece Hall, but Fields also, like, their offense may not be as dynamic, and so they might just need Breece, especially in the passing game too. I think Breece could be good.
Yeah, I think Khalil Herbert.
I question
was
Hampton's passing. I don't know, upside, like receiving upside.
He might lose some goal line carries to Najee Harris also. They signed him for money. Like I think Harbaugh's going to use both of them. I think it's
Braylon
just as
annoying. Get
annoying
work too. So I mean, it's going to be that might be annoying too. So
okay. I think I'm leaning Hampton just for the unknown, just because I tend to like Charger or Harbaugh running backs because I feel like when you get within the 5, they're going to get a crack at it. And maybe it's not Hampton, maybe Najee gets one and Hampton gets one, but you're going to get that crack of a rush. But like you said, Breece Hall might get that with Glenn too, but Glenn was the D coordinator. Next, CMC, Madden Curse. Running back 1 2 years ago. Last year, I didn't even look it up because it was just that bad. I saw a video of him running on X. He didn't look great. I know it's just warm-ups and stuff like that, but he didn't look special like CMC normally does. I know he's probably still not pushing it very hard, and it's versus air. So how hard are you really
he's still
going to go?
RB5, 11 overall and underdog ADP-wise. So
yeah, and the PPR helps in there.
I mean, what kind of like bounce back are we talking about? I mean, he's not going to be number 1. I mean,
he's not going to be one. Yeah. You think
do I
he's
think
top
he's an
10,
RB1?
Jordan?
I think so. Yeah.
I'm staying out still. I'm going to go not RB1.
I'll go.
The problem is
Seth, you going?
I'll go top 3.
Wow. So you're
going top 3, Seth.
Back.
Yeah, I think so.
So then you should be drafting.
I mean, maybe top 5 is maybe the right answer, but I don't know. Like, people were doubting that he would not do anything when he first came back or when he first went to the 49ers, Like, everyone's like, oh, he's going to get hurt, and then he had 2 good years. So, I mean, what's to say that one hurt year isn't going to, I don't know. I think he's going to come back pretty strong this year.
All right.
Mm.
I'm like CMC and Alvin Kamara. Some guys are going to have to be off the board. Kamara's probably still the best like late round guy, right, Jordan? The Saints are bad, but he's RB20 right now. Like I feel like you're going to have a lot of Alvin Kamara, Jordan. Like, would you rather have Alvin Kamara or James Conner?
Probably Conner, but I don't know. That's close. I just want who do they have on the because
Saints are bad.
They don't. They have Condre Miller. They drafted Devin Neal. Yeah, there's not a lot there. I don't know.
There's not a lot of pass catchers there either.
Yeah, it's Chris Olave, Cooks, Brandon Cooks. Wow.
Yeah.
And Rashid Shaheed. Did Brandon Cooks start on the Saints?
He was on the Cowboys last year.
Yeah, but
he started on the Rams, I thought. Was it the Rams or Saints?
No, he was drafted by New Orleans.
Okay, all right. I know he played for the Rams, the Patriots, Cowboys. He's been everywhere.
He went New Orleans, the Patriots, Rams, Texans, Cowboys, Saints.
Okay. So Kamara is going at RB20. David Montgomery's at RB23, just to put it in perspective. And then you have Steelers' Caleb Johnson at 25. So just some guys around there. Seth, Kenneth Walker, or Alvin Kamara?
Kenneth Walker.
Okay. Yeah. We should have brought it up. I feel like Phil's probably doing some kind of, charity run again right now. That's probably why he couldn't make it. I'm just going to give him the benefit of the doubt that he's doing a charity run for free, not actually paying charity. All right, Jordan, Travis Etienne, running back 3, 35. Are you just done right now? Absolutely done. Tank Bigsby, or do you think Trevor
I don't
Lawrence
think.
gets his boy
I
involved.
mean, they also drafted
out.
2 but there was really good coach speak out of Cohen today, talking about ETN, how he didn't understand the trade speculation, that he's doing everything they're asking of him. That he really. So I think he's somewhere in the middle. I think he's closer to like an RB, like a top 25 RB, top 20. If he gets the workload, I think he'll be better. I guess I'll just say it that way. Now, is there any promise of a workload with Bigsby and Tootin? The thing is, though, I think Bigsby and Tootin are kind of the same type of running back.
Yeah.
And Travis Etienne still provides some type of different, ability as a running back, different type, pass catcher, big run breaker, and he's Trevor Lawrence's boy. So I think that also helps. I don't think he's just gonna not be on the team or he's gonna get cut or anything like that. And so I don't know. I think there could be some. I think there will be some type of bounce back. I think he's not in the top 30. I think he's more of a 20 to 25 guy.
So I looked at 2022 just for fun, and Travis Etienne was running back 17. Who knows who RB1 was in 2022?
Was it Henry?
No. Seth, you got a guess?
No.
Is it someone
Austin
random?
Eckler. Austin Eckler. Yeah. Followed by CMC and Josh Jacobs. Nick Chubb at 5, who is still a free agent.
Oh.
Thought he'd be picked up by
I remember my Nick Chubb take last year. Man, what a flop.
Looks good working out. Sometimes those knee injuries take a year, though, to get ready than to come back.
Yeah, but that guy's had more knee
Sometimes.
injuries, and I made a
I think he's just old,
great
Trent.
idea.
I think at this point,
He's
This
old.
point, he's just old.
Yeah. All right, wide receivers. Jordan, this isn't really a bounce back. You put this on here, though. But you got Roma Dunze. You high on Roma Dunze this year?
Well, I mean, I think he can. I mean, I guess technically not a bounce back, but like, where was he drafted last year? He was not drafted at 49. Can you sign that,
I
Trent?
don't even know how to put
Where he was.
I think I'm in the wrong spot for that. I'd probably have to bring something up.
But I
let
mean,
me see
I
here.
actually no, I can do it right here. Sorry, Trent, I can pull it up right here for you.
Okay.
So
what was he? He had to have been like 28?
39. Wide receiver,
Okay.
39. So
Finished his 49.
I guess he finished 49. I think he's gonna be like. I think we get some bounce back. Like a bounce back in theory from what we expected from him. If that makes sense. So, I mean, the Bears, they still they got more. But I think this is more of a bet on like a Ben Johnson because they have. Yeah, I get they got like they drafted Loveland, and they drafted Burden. But I just think that Rome's going to be more of a guy for them. And I think he's a big play wide receiver. I loved him coming out of college last year. So I just like Rome Odunze, and I think he pushes to be a top 30 wide receiver this year. And I think he's great in your Caleb Williams, like, best ball stacks. If you don't get more, like to go like a Loveland Odunze or Odunze and Burden, like I think those are great, like, double stacks with Caleb Williams in best ball.
Well, I'm just struck. Like, I don't know. I think Caleb Williams is going to be really good this year. I'm kind of.
So then you want all the Bears pass catchers you can, Trent. Like,
yeah, definitely in best ball. I don't know in redraft.
Well, where is he going to be? Where is he being drafted right now?
In best ball?
No, in redraft.
Caleb Williams or Rome?
Rome. So he's being drafted at wide receiver 35. So you're not getting a discount on him. So that does make it a little bit tougher. I thought maybe if he was getting drafted kind of in that 40s. Man, Cooper Kupp's getting drafted at wide receiver 45. Sorry,
Nope.
That was just an observation.
No, people are high on this whole Bears team because, Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams and, where's DJ Moore going is what I was wondering. Do I have him on this list?
Wide receiver
23. So he finished
He's going wide receiver.
just another guy we got here. Yeah, 16 last year, 6 the year before. Like I think the bounce back's
now
there.
he's going wide receiver 21, Trent, right now in Underdog.
Oh, 21. Okay.
Or 16.
So,
Sorry, 16. 16.
yeah, my list's not updated. Did I hit the wrong one? Okay. Yeah, because my list has him at 23. But yeah, I have him going in the same spot as, wow, Terry McLaurin's going at wide receiver 16 right now. Oh, sorry, this is all positions. My bad. I think
So
Terry
actually,
McLaurin's
Trent,
just a little-
Rome is going wide receiver 25 on underdog right now. Yeah.
Okay, and DJ Moore's
So everyone thinks the bounce back's happening.
yeah.
Burden's probably your
my
best
list-
value. Wide receiver 46.
Yeah, no, I like Burden too, but I feel like that's more of like a waiver wire, filler I might use.
No,
off and
for
on,
best
hope
ball
I
though.
get
I think
lucky.
I'm talking
Yeah.
more like a best ball type of format. Loveland too, tied in 12. So man, you could do a Caleb Williams and then do like a really cheap double stack with like Loveland and Burden in best ball.
Only thing that worries me about Loveland is I think Cole Kmet's still involved. Like I don't.
Yeah,
that's
but you
the thing
don't
that
draft a guy in the
he
first
just signed
round, and I don't know.
No, I know, but it's just a weird deal. I know Ben Johnson kind of found his guy and wanted to get him, but so are we all in on all Bears players bounce back? Seth, you agree with that? You in on DJ Moore and Rome?
Yeah. I think
You
so.
think
I think
Caleb
Caleb Williams is going to be good.
Can Caleb Williams support 2 top 20 wide receivers?
Yeah, I think so.
I think the Bears are
Maybe
in a
top
tough
25.
league, so yeah, I think so. They're in a tough league.
What do we think of who's Bears running back right now? Swift, and did they draft somebody?
I got it right here. Swift and Roshan, and they drafted Manungai out of Rutgers in the 7th round.
Okay. So Swift probably won't have that goal line equity as usual. He won't have it. So Tyreek Hill, wide receiver 1 and 23, wide receiver 21 and 24. In best ball, he's going as on my list, Jordan, which was updated May 28th. It is June 2nd at the time of recording. Where do I have Tyreek Hill?
What do you have? I have
wide receiver 15.
I got wide receiver 13. So I don't know. Yours might be newer than mine. I don't know. I'm on Fantasy Pros. So
he's going one spot behind Marvin Harrison, one spot ahead of Terry McLaurin. Anyone taking Tyreek Hill over Terry McLaurin?
no.
Oh, man.
No.
Oh man, that's hard, but I think no.
I think there's a bounce back for Tyreek though. I think he ends up in that 8 to 12 range, somewhere in there.
All right.
Yeah, I think
The
Who
guy
would you
was
rather
so
have here?
good.
Yeah.
Over Terry.
Who would you
though,
rather
I
have
don't
here?
know.
Devontae Adams or Tyreek Hill?
Tyreek by a mile. I don't even think it's close.
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
Just because Puka, right? Because Puka.
Yeah, and Devontae's old, man. And I know Tyreek's no spring chicken, but like I just feels like Devontae's so much older than Tyreek. I don't know how much older he actually is than Tyreek, but so Tyreek is 31. How old's Devontae? I guess he's actually probably
Devontae's
close
got
to
to
the
be
same age,
33,
huh?
right?
Yeah, he's
Looking.
yeah, he's at least 2-3 years older than I am. 2-3 years older than I am. So he's 32.
I'm not finding Devontae. Okay. So
Devontae will turn 33 this season. So, yeah, I think it's got to be Tyreek. It feels like Devontae is slowing down. I don't know, but maybe Tyreek is too. I don't know. It's a tough one, Trent. Tyreek was just so good for so many years.
Mike Evans.
I don't know.
Yeah. I think Devontae Adams at wide receiver 19, you're getting him as your wide receiver 2. I think that's really nice. Or you could get Mike Evans at wide receiver 20. So it's a kind of a Mike Evans or Devontae Adams. Who would you rather take there?
I think Mike Evans, but
Mike Evans.
I think Mike Evans also.
He's
Like
like
I-
the consistent production king, man.
Yeah. So trade, keep, cut. If you between Mike Evans, Tyreek Hill, and Devontae Adams. I'm going to say.
Based
I
on
think
where
I'm
they're
gonna
being
say-
drafted,
I just redraft right now. Out of these guys, I think I would say Mike Evans. Trade. I would go trade Tyreek Hill and then I think I would trade Devontae Adams just because he's kind of that new toy in LA that maybe you could sell him, and then I would cut Hill. So I'd go keep Evans, trade Devontae, and cut Tyreek Hill. That's the three if I do it.
I'd go keep Tyreek, trade Evans, cut Devontae.
Okay. Seth, what are you thinking?
I think you trade for Tyreek's value because I think someone's dumb enough to trade high enough for that, and then you keep Mike Evans and you cut Devontae.
You said keep Mike Evans, right, Jordan?
I
No.
said trade
Said
Mike
trade.
Evans. I said keep Tyreek Hill.
Okay. All right. And then Deebo Samuel at 12. I'm completely out. I don't.
No.
Yeah, I'm off. You know what? I don't know, Trent. I think there's some. Where's he being drafted at? Because to
Wide
me,
receiver
that's all
12
that
last
really-
year is what he finished. And then he's
Yeah.
getting drafted at he's got
No, he did not finish wide receiver 12 last year. He
2 years ago,
finished
2 years ago 12. Sorry, I don't have what he did last year. I didn't think it was worth
Deebo
it.
wide receiver 34. I don't love it there.
No, it's him.
Oh.
Okay, would you rather have Deebo Samuel or Jerry Jeudy?
Deebo Samuel, but
Okay,
I don't know.
Stephon Diggs
At least
or Deebo
I feel
Samuel? At least, you might get to go on a boat ride with Stephon Diggs, but I'm going Stephon Diggs over Jerry Jeudy.
I at
Sorry,
least
Stephon
love
Diggs
the
over
fact-
Deebo Samuel.
The thing is, Trent, like Deebo's, I like his offense that he's in, so it's kind of tough. And how old is Deebo Samuel? Probably not as old, 29, so he's a little bit on the older side. How old is Stephon Diggs?
30,
He's older.
3.
But he's the one in that offense, though. But I know he
31.
might miss a week or two. So right now, it's looking like he's not going to be ready for the first week. You guys see him fall off that ab machine? That was pretty good.
I mean, he's done a lot of stuff in the last week that I've seen him do. So
He keeps making headlines. Yeah. So, all right. That's all our wide receivers there. Tight ends. We got a Mount Rushmore here coming up as well, guys. We got Sam Laporta. Finished as 1 2 years ago, 7 this past year. I just can't get excited for any Lions players really outside of Gibbs, Amon-Ra.
J-Mo. Hey, J-Mo's going to
J-Mo.
he's going to have a great year.
It's those three, and then I like David Montgomery just for value. So I can't get excited about the Sam Laporta stuff.
Yeah,
just
I
can't.
don't
Sam
know.
Laporta, he's more of like a special weapon than he is a consistent production. So I think he finishes around 7 again. I'm not drafting him at all.
Yeah, I agree. I actually have the same exact sentiment as Seth.
Tight end 4 2 years ago, 33 this past year.
What was he on the
kind of
points per
like-
game though, Trent? Like if you know what I'm saying, if you take away because he missed a lot
it wasn't
of time.
it wasn't that great.
Points per game.
This is
Really,
a
it felt like he had.
Um,
I'll look right now.
This is just a dart throw for me. It's like, and I think this is a good late round.
He was 17
been-
when it comes to points per game.
Yeah, he had a 14-point game, and then 11-point game, and then he never had more than 9 points after that. Most of his games were under 6.
I'm gonna go bounce back, Trent, just because I do like tight ends with rookie quarterbacks, especially with quarterbacks who I don't think can really throw the football. So
No, I think it's a good spot. There's just a lot of mouths to feed there, and I know in baseball, J.J. McCarthy's a rookie, but he's not technically a rookie. But he's never taken a snap.
You mean in basketball he's a rookie?
Is it not baseball? How do they do baseball?
Baseball rookie is very bizarre for what it's worth.
It's even worse, huh?
It's very bizarre. Like you could be play 2 months. It's like you could play 2 months and then the next year you're still a rookie somehow. So I don't know how that works, but
I'm very high on JJ McCarthy right now. I know no one else on this pod is, but I like the ADP of JJ McCarthy. A year ago, no one thought Sam Darnold was going to be that good. Maybe I'm wrong when I said Baker Mayfield. I'm kind of willing to wait and go with JJ McCarthy and just see what happens. He's going really late. He's throwing to Justin Jefferson. I've given you the whole spiel about what O'Connell does with QBs. Like he did it with Dobbs. He's done it with Sam Darnold. I think J.J. McCarthy is going to be the next guy. And I think for QB 20, I think he finishes that QB 12. I think he can get up there. Just off Justin Jefferson and Addison alone. I know Addison's about 1,000-yard receiving year, but you're playing in a dome. It's a very QB-friendly offense. So with that, I'm going Hawkinson. Jordan, you added Dalton Kincaid. I did not realize that Dalton Kincaid finished as tight end 11 2 years ago.
Yeah, he was pretty good in his rookie year, so I think he bounces back again. I don't know if it matters, but I do think he bounces back from what he did last year.
I think I'd rather take Hawkinson than Kincaid, so I'm going to go. He definitely bounces back. I
mean, tight ends are just kind of, I don't know.
It's so weird.
I thought last year was going to be a tight end year, and then they all kind of sucked. So
the only player I really feel comfortable drafting on the Bills is Josh Allen, to be honest with you.
We'll go into the huddle here. Seth, you lost in the section championship. There was a questionable call. You were the first base coach. You did not get thrown out of the game.
Thanks for bringing it up.
Jordan, did you hear it all that? I didn't hear anything Seth
I didn't.
said.
It wasn't worth getting thrown out. Wasn't worth losing my composure.
I don't know. I think if you would have went out in just the flames of glory, I think it would have been pretty cool. But it made great content. I definitely would have videotaped it.
You guys can't hear it or what?
Seth's just in and out.
Yeah. Pretty choppy.
Unfortunately. And then Phil pulls a Frank.
What am I gonna do? Like, I argued the call, but I wasn't gonna get thrown out over it.
I just, games on the line, seasons on the line. I just expect a little bit more out of you.
It was a very passive aggressive arguing, Seth. It was very very passive aggressive from you.
At least you took your helmet
aggression, off. Yeah, a little more anger. A little more. Get the arms going. A little more of that.
Here's an idea. Take about 6 Zins out of your mouth, and you'll be able to talk to the ump a little better, probably.
Did I really take my helmet off?
Yeah, helmet was off. Arms were doing the shrug. You pointed at the first base.
That is so dumb.
Maybe kick some dirt or something next time. I don't know. Just season on the line. I expected a little bit more. That's all. So Frank Ragnow retires today. Why do all good Lions players retire early? Can someone figure it out? Is it Seth? Seth is so choppy right now. I don't even know. He's on a different planet right now. Seth, do you know what I'm saying right now?
What?
You are extremely lagged behind.
I can hear you. I think it's going through late or something.
Okay. Maybe so. Maybe when we upload it, it'll fix it. So, City of Detroit just can't have nice things. Barry Sanders, Calvin Johnson, Frank Ragnow now. So, just retired. And that it kind of it's segmented to me to want to do a Mount Rushmore. Maybe we shouldn't if we're having technical difficulties with Seth. But Phil kind of pulled the Frank I don't even know how to say this guy's name. Ragnow, I think is how you do it. Phil did the same thing. Phil retired from coaching this week. All right. He can't coach his daughter's 4-year-old soccer team.
Why?
So he retired. He just said another baby on the way. He can't do it. So now guess who took his spot?
You did.
I took his spot. So at least Phil had the decency to let the guy know before the draft so he could potentially make his team better, which is what my head coach did. He improved the team. I don't know why Frank had to wait till after the draft to decide he's retiring, so they just couldn't do anything. At least, Phil gave his head coach an opportunity to improve the rosters.
Are you just going to watch a bunch of Ted Lasso, in the next 3 months, Trent, to get on your soccer coaching game?
I was thinking more of downloading Backyard Soccer on my old computer or There was another one. I was thinking more kicking and screaming. I thought would be more of my style than Ted Lasso. I think Ted Lasso's too polished for me. So that's kind of what I thought with that.
What about the assistant? I could see you being like the Ted Lasso's assistant, just blow up every once in a while, do some weird stuff.
I think I'm more like Mike Ditka.
I guess that's fair.
Have you not seen Kicking and Screaming? Have you seen that one, Jordan?
I have.
I think that one's pretty good. I think that was pretty good. So I think with Seth being all lagged out over here, Seth, just do a quick talk real quick. It's working,
all right,
unfortunately.
It's better. I feel like it's working now.
Yeah. Do you want to defend yourself from your whole baseball thing or just let
I was trying to defend myself. I could hear you guys talking, but I think it was just going through laggy for some reason. It just wasn't worth me getting thrown out for. I just had to tell the umpire it was really good in this moment. I just told him, you kind of took the game in your own hands here a little bit. I said you're rewarding a bad play. That's all I had to say.
Yeah. So this is just to put it in lazy,
and he didn't decide to clear. He decided to throw the ball from the home plate. And I said, you said it hit him in the back? Well, it hit him in the arm, not the back. Okay? So.
Yeah. No, so just to put it in context, just to see how people at home would have reacted. 2 outs, bases loaded, down by 2 points. That's how you say, right, Seth? Down by 2 points. And pass ball to the catcher. Catcher picks up the ball.
Third strike.
And swinging third strike.
Drop
catcher picks up the ball in the pass ball. Yeah. Drills our batter in the back, our base runner in the back. The ump calls him out like it's kickball. And Seth just sits there and kind of just, I don't know. I feel like you could have went out just flames of glory, Seth. That's all I'm going to say.
I mean, I could have, but it wasn't going to change anything. That would be out of character for me to act like that.
I actually thought it was out of character how you acted, so you might be getting better. Maybe the pod's helping you.
Stupid.
You act like anytime someone passes you on the freeway that you're going to chase them down and, let them have it, or someone goes 45 and a 55, but, like, heaven forbid the game's on the line. You're just like, oh, out of character, guys.
Yeah, but my arguing wasn't going to change anything.
You never know. And we don't know now.
A call like that, I've seen the umps confer. They get together in their little huddle.
Yeah, but that's a call you can't you can't ask for help on that call. That's just total judgment call.
Maybe you could ask for clarification of the rule, though. There's that.
Yeah, but I mean, he's not going to admit he's wrong in front of 2,000 people.
Is that how many people were there? Do you know? Do you have a head count?
I mean, it was probably around there. I mean, the stadium was full. And I guess I could see how many people fill that stadium.
Yeah. So
there wasn't many empty seats.
No. So, but anyways, I don't know, Seth. Like, good season. You did a good job over there at first base and the outfield.
They're not done, Trent. They're not done.
Yeah, it's true. Seth, I went pregame, saw Seth hitting fly balls to the guys. He's pretty good with that Funko bat, so that's good.
Bat. Fungo.
All right. I was going to do a Mount Rushmore of Franks, just in honor of Frank Ragnaw, but with Seth's technical difficulties.
There's 2,468, 1,888 with additional capacity for 580 fans on the lawn. So it's probably about 2,000 people were there.
That was close, yeah. That's good. All right. Well, I was thinking Mount Rushmore of best Franks, but I think with the laggingness, I don't think we need to do it. We'll punt this to another time. We'll see you guys.
You probably want Phil on this one, huh?
No, because it would take like 20 minutes, and Phil probably missed next week too. We'll try to get the internet working a little bit better.
Can't believe that guy puts parades in front of the pod. Amazing.
So we'll try to get Seth's audio, maybe the Boost Mobile a little bit better or whatever it is, but I think that's all. We'll see you guys next time. And as always, take care.